As we age, it's hard not to start worrying about our health and about how long we can stay mentally there for our loved ones. It's natural to want to stay mentally alert, sharp, and aware of the people we love and our surroundings, so we can truly enjoy all that we see and experience around us. And few of us want to be a burden to the family members who will be caring for us. Don't you agree? At least I know that's the case for me. But maybe Alzheimer's disease runs in your family, and you're afraid this can happen to you too. So you're wondering, how can I prevent this? And how can I keep my mind going strong? Let's look at that today. In this episode, we'll see if eating a plant-based diet might help older individuals with cognitive decline, such as Alzheimer's disease. We'll also examine other lifestyle changes that may help slow down the progression of cognitive impairment or dementia. So grab that hot mug of tea and let's dive in. Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk. And let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. Did you know? Dementia refers to a collection of several diseases affecting memory and cognitive abilities. It is the 7th leading cause of death in the world and a big contributor to disability and dependency in the older elderly population. Worldwide, there are about 57 million people with dementia in 2021, and every year there are nearly 10 million new cases. The most common form of dementia is actually Alzheimer's disease. According to the World Health Organization, or WHO, Alzheimer's disease may contribute up to 60 to 70% of cases of dementia seen. I think most of us have been impacted by Alzheimer's disease. You probably know someone or have had a close loved one who has had this condition and gradually faded away. He or she may have even developed a personality that was completely opposite to what they were once like, and it can be so painful to watch them turn into a different person. I've seen this happen personally. I loved my maternal grandmother dearly. Growing up, my sister and I would often visit my grandparents in Taiwan over the summer. I have such fond memories of us spending sweet times around the round wooden dining table, eating delicious home-cooked meals that my grandmother lovingly prepared. My grandma loved to play card games, so we would often enjoy a game or two in the evenings. I also enjoyed chatting with my grandma and watching her cook as she prepared dinner in the kitchen. But over time, things changed. My grandmother started forgetting things and then eventually forgetting the faces of loved ones around her. Eventually, she turned aggressive and would often refuse to cooperate with my aunt, her main caregiver, when it came to taking showers. Playing games became difficult as she would repeatedly ask how to play each time it came to her turn. It was really sad and painful to watch her mind and brain deteriorate over time, and her personality change. My experience is a big reason why I want to do today's episode. Usually, in a person with dementia, we would see changes in mood and behavior, along with memory issues. But over time, symptoms tend to worsen and our loved ones become more dependent on others for daily care. But the World Health Organization is also quick to point out that while dementia mainly affects older people, not all people will get it as they age. So can eating more plant-based help? Let's review what we're seeing so far from research. Results published 2 decades ago from the Chicago Health and Aging Project and the Nurses' Health Study cohorts have already shown an association between high vegetable intakes and less cognitive decline. A number of organizations like the World Health Organization European Office and the German Nutrition Society have also recommended a plant-based diet to better cognitive health and potentially prevent dementia. In a 2022 review paper, Stefanak and colleagues discussed various diets with a beneficial effect on human cognitive function, such as the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, and the MIND diet, which stands for Mediterranean Dash Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. Brain health was found to be improved by these diets. It is interesting to note that these diets are all plant-centered diets, rich in fruits, vegetables, legumes, and unrefined cereals. But what about a whole food plant-based diet? This would be a fully plant-based diet centered completely on natural, minimally processed plant-based foods. To help us answer this question, let's look at a small but well-designed study whose results were published in the Alzheimer's Research and Therapy Journal in 2024. This multi-center, randomized control trial examined the effects of intensive lifestyle changes on the progression of mild cognitive impairment or early dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. In it, researchers Dr. Dean Ornish and colleagues randomized 51 participants between the ages of 45 to 90 into two groups, an intervention group and a standard care waitlist control group. Those in the intervention group received 20 weeks of an intensive multi-domain lifestyle intervention that focused on a minimally processed whole food plant-based diet. Calories were unrestricted and meals were centered around foods rich in complex carbohydrates such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Intervention participants also engaged in moderate exercises like walking and mild strength training exercises, stress management techniques, and attended group support sessions. Researchers used standard tests of cognition and function to assess these participants before and after the intervention, along with experimental biomarkers of disease progression. The results? Using the standard measures of cognition and function, researchers found that for 3 of the measures, scores had improved in the intervention group, but were worsened in participants in the control group. For the 4th measure, the Clinical Dementia Rating Sum of Boxes, or CDR-SB, the scores had worsened significantly more in the control group than in the intervention group. The study authors concluded that comprehensive lifestyle changes may significantly improve cognition and function after 20 weeks in many patients with mild cognitive impairment or early dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Of course, more well-designed longer-term studies are needed to study this connection, but it is really encouraging to see the potential positive impacts of a whole food plant-based diet in the context of other important lifestyle changes in helping those diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. How might a plant-centered diet help our brain? Well, one possible way is because compared to regular diets, a plant-based diet can be richer in fiber, polyunsaturated fatty acids, and specific vitamins and minerals like magnesium, iron, and copper, which can positively impact brain health. For example, phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, and fiber found in fruits and vegetables have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which may protect the brain by reducing the pathological processes associated with aging and dementia. There may be other contributing factors involved, such as having less saturated fat intake in the diet, better blood sugars, a healthier gut microbiome, and the maintenance of a healthier weight, which can all help prevent or slow down cognitive decline and the development of Alzheimer's disease. Of course, research continues, and I look forward to learning more about this fascinating topic. So today we looked at the question of whether eating a plant-centered or plant-based diet can help reduce the risk and slow down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. And we saw that there's research supporting this to say that yes, it can. So centering your plates around minimally processed whole plant-based foods is a smart strategy you can adopt in the midst of a multi-pronged approach with other lifestyle changes to prevent and improve mild cognitive impairment or early dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. My grandmother had Alzheimer's disease for at least 7 years before she passed, and it was very painful to watch. To watch her change in appearance and personality and fade away from the grandma I once knew and loved. That's 7 years lost in terms of quality time, sweet moments together, and having good conversations. As her granddaughter, I wish I had more time with her and that she was more mentally present to get to know and spend time with my husband and children. Friend, you may be a grandma now or about to become one. Do you want to also keep your mind active and sharp so you can be the best grandma you can be? If so, let's work together to make that desire a reality. Reach out to me at healthnow@plantnourish.com or see the link in the show notes to book a free 15-minute strategy call. I want to support you and help you gain energy, lower risk of disease, and build a strong mind and body. Thank you so much for listening. If this podcast has inspired, encouraged, or helped you in some way to transform your health, I would love to hear about it. Please take 30 seconds to rate and leave a written review on Apple Podcasts to let me know. It will encourage me so much to hear how this podcast has positively impacted and made a difference in your journey towards wellness. And share about this podcast with a friend or loved one so we can all thrive in the best health. Remember, plant-based eating can be easy and doable. See you in the next episode, my friend.